Hi everyone, this is Jan. How are you doing today? I want to do a Christmas rose, or at least start on it today. And I have an 8 by 10 canvas. I have a little rose pattern on it with 3 little leaves. And I have colors for this project, which is a light, medium, and dark pink, light, medium, and dark green. I have a wisteria, baby blue, white. Here's a little brown, a little gray. This is kind of like a bisque color right here. I have floating medium here, blending gel right here. Okay, and I have let's see, this is the 1/2-inch mop brush, and I have dipped that in some white paint after I dipped it in water and blotted it. I dipped it in the white paint and worked it back and forth. And then before I started to paint, I went ahead and I have a spray bottle and I just misted my canvas with the water, and then come back and put a light coat of the white all over the canvas like that. Then I came back in with my colors. See, here's a little blue, and I just started adding some blues and some pinks. I have a little bit of greenscape here. I'm going to pick up just a little bit of pink, put a little pink right there, and then just feather it out and work it really, really light into your canvas. And you can put a lot of different colors in here. Now we can add them later again, like when we get the leaves and everything in. You might want to add some greens and different tones into your canvas. We can re-wet it again. But this makes a really nice background for you. It's easy, it's blendable, because we sprayed it with our water bottle here, this little fine mister. We got the background wet. Now what else you can do is once you spray it, take your hand and rub it across your canvas like this so it works it into your canvas right there. Then go ahead and wet your mop brush, blot it, go into your paint, your white first, and do a thin coat of white, and then come back and go ahead and do your other colors, whatever colors you want. It's better to do a darker tone up in the corners. See how you can see that? And then just feather out the edges. Now I can see this is getting a little dry, so what I can do, I have a little cup of water right here, just a little capful of water, and a lot of times I will just go ahead and dip the tip of that bristle in a little water and then come back and start re-blending that, and that just opens it back up for blending, because sometimes your paint will sort of start drying on you. Okay, and here, I don't know if you can see all those colors on there, but we have some pinks, we have some wisteria. See, here's the wisteria greenscape, here's a little blue, and then I pulled in a little bit of that baby pink right there. First, put your white on though, so that your colors won't come out real dark. You want it real subtle, because when we come in and do our leaves and our roses, we'll go ahead and come back and do some finger painting to the background there so that we can add a little bit more color. This gives us a base. Now we want to go ahead and let this base dry before we start on any other area of the rose. This will be a quick rose. All we've got is some leaves here and the rose and our different colors in the background there. So it's not going to take us long to do this little painting. All right, I'll be back whenever this dries. Now the next thing we want to do is add a little bit of foliage behind the rose here. And for that, we need it to be really, really light. I'm using a number 4 filbert brush, and I am using some greenscape. And what you want to do is take a little bit of that greenscape on your brush, move it over here, and I pick up a little bit of water that I have stored in a little cap there. You want this watery and work it in like that. Once it's watery, then you can come in and pity pat some of these little leaves and foliage. You can see that I've taken the chisel edge and I've made a few stems for these to rest on. Just go ahead and pull it out and then just tap it on. Real faint. You don't want these to show up very much at all. Yeah, let's go here. See? And keep working that in. This is more of a watercolor liquid than paint on it. You want it real soft. I have 1, 2, 3 leaves here. So let's take some of it up in here. Okay, I've left that open here. Let's bring a little more paint here, a little more water. And let's see, you can start with a stem like that. And then you can turn your filbert brush on its side and just walk it right on down like that. Do a little more water. You can feel when it gets too dry on you. Now this background is completely dry before you do this. Did the background, then I went and picked up a hairdryer and dried the background before I started this. Alright, three leaves right here. I'm going to pull this in a little bit. Let's see, a little more greenscape. Let's see, we can do this a little deeper in here because we have our rose petal right here. So I want it, I can always float color right in here. 1, 2, this leaf goes around like that, comes around. I can see the pattern, but you might not be able to see it in the monitor there. Okay, that's enough of the light foliage. Try not to get your foliage too dark. You want this really subtle. Here's a close-up of it. Very subtle. We're doing layers of color. Now what I will do is I will go back and dry this again, and then I will come in and I will add maybe one more layer to this, and then I'll be finished with the background, and then we can go ahead and start on our rose there. Alright, I'll see you in a few. Now what we'll do next is put a wash of color on our rose and on our leaves. And we want this to be like a watercolor wash, to where you're going to use like 80% water and 20% paint. So all I did was take a filbert brush. This is like a number 4. And I used the light pink here. And I just brought it over here and used water, made a mixture. And then I went ahead and coated this over the rose here. Now I can see the pattern, you probably can't. But make sure that it's light enough to where you can see your pattern underneath. And you want to trace your pattern on with graphite. You don't want to use pencil because pencil will smear once you get it wet. So do a light coat of the pink all the way around. Then I took a little bit of the magenta, brought that over here, and did the same thing with the same amount of water. And then I more or less floated or pipetted the darker color because that's going to be the center. And then I did the same thing with a little bit of yellow with a little bit of white, and I wanted that for the front part of the rose. Now the leaves, I wasn't too concerned with the leaves other than just blocking them in with a little bit of color. And I still know which way they're facing because I put a little bit of a line right here so I know what direction they're going in. Once that is done, go ahead and take your painting in, and I just used a hairdryer. I have a heat gun hairdryer, and I used that, and I went ahead and dried this. So that's going to be your next step. Then when we come back, then we're going to go ahead and start our rose petals back here. And we're going to do a very simple method of doing this. We won't be doing an overstroke rose. We're going to be doing a side stroke for the rose. But at least we have a base on here that is dry, and we can put it on really, really light. We don't have to have a heavy coverage on here. And that's what I want. I want it real soft. Okay, then once we do the rose, then we'll come back again, and then I'll start on the leaves here. Now I'm going to do some holly leaves here, kind of in a silver green color. And then we'll do some little sprays of pine needles coming out. Okay, so it looks a little more Christmassy. And then we'll go ahead and add some more color to our background here. All right, so that's what you have in store. Go ahead and get that done, and when we come back, we'll go ahead and start on this rose. Now let's go ahead and start our rose petals here. I have a number 3/8 brush. It's an angle brush. You can see by the angle on the tip there. And what I have done was I coated my pink in blending gel. Now the background has to be completely dry, but what I did was I coated the background. You can see the shine on there. See the shine? That's how you can tell if you have this blending gel on the back. And what I did was I just took a brush and I picked up some of the blending gel, and I just went ahead and put that on the background here. Being it's dry, it's not going to do anything to your background, and I went beyond where my petals are, and I just put on a nice coat of the blending gel. And what this does is it's going to give me a little bit of open time so I don't have to paint on a dry surface and try to do these petals. It's really, you can get a lighter touch and a lighter color using the blending gel. So I have that on there. Next thing I did was I double loaded with this light pink on the back, on the heel of the brush, white on the tip, and then I have a little palette over here, and I just go back and forth and blend it in together. Okay, once you have that done, you start with a petal that is further away, which was this one here. Next, I see a little bitty one right here, so I'm just going to take my brush, stop, take it, readjust it. Okay, I'm not doing a full stroke like this or little loops on it. I am pretty much tapping it. Do a little streak, another little streak. Maybe I come up on this one, up on that one. Pity pat the back part, reload. Here's another little petal right here. So I'll start right here. Bring this one up. I'm putting more pressure on the tip of this brush as opposed to the heel of the brush. The heel of the brush is pretty much staying stationary. See, rotate it around like this, just little pitty pat strokes. Okay, so we have those done. Need more white, so I'll load up with some more white. And just pitty pat those petals in. Okay, there's that one. Now we have to go around and we have to do another one right here. So I'm going to pitty pat. I go up a little bit, come down a little bit, pick up a little more white so I can have a little whiter edge on this. I'm not going like that. I'm pitty patting these petals on. That way you get a little lacy effect there. And because I have a color already on it, I don't have to worry about. I'm just worried about, see how I come up and then come back down? I'm mostly just worried about the tip of this. And the back part just kind of rides down on the petal there. And I mostly paint right on and put my pressure right there on the tip of this. Now I can change some of these into 2 petals instead of 1. Dip it in a little bit more gel there. But you can change these little petals here. See how I am mostly on the tip of this. See how now I made 2 little petals. This one can come in the front here. Okay, now that one looks like it's in the front. Keep going around. Pitty pat, come up, come down. More white. Come up, come down. And now my white here. This makes it really, really nice because you don't have to worry about your canvas being dry on you because you have that blending gel on there. And that helps keep your work really, really wet and slick for you. Not so slick you can't paint on it, but nice enough to wear. So that you can just come right back on around. Now I see a little petal right there, so I will go ahead and do a little petal right here. See, pitty pat and pull. Pitty pat and pull. Okay, now I can make a little petal right here too. See how you can just weave those around? See, make these little ruffled little petals here. It's a fun technique to do, and you really can do it nice with these angle brushes because you can use the point of this to do your petal and you don't have that back end dragging on anything because it's not even touching, you're pretty much just working off of the front or the tip of your brush there. And beans, I already have some dark there. It's not real important that I have the back of that brush painting anything. I can just work off of the tip. Now when you come to a front petal, I would come up, walk it back down. I want a little pink there. Sometimes you have to fudge it. Nice little edge here. Bring that right on down to meet this front petal right here. I'm going to pick up a little bit more of the pink right there. I'm just double loading that little paper palette right here. Okay. Bitty bat. Bitty bat. Now this one comes up, so I want a little darker pink, and of course I want the white. So again, just get that deeper pink in there. I can float those other colors on there, okay? I'm just worried about the tip right here. All right. And that's going to slide right on around there. Okay. Now this petal right here. Pick up this one. I'm going to pick up a little more blending gel with it. All right, on the front one, we're going to start right here on this edge. Okay, I'm going to take the heel and I am going to work this color with the heel so that I have something there. And pitty pat right on around. Okay, now we're going to arch down this way. Okay. This has to come down to meet the bowl. Now we're going to pitty pat some pink right here. This is going to be pink in here. Now if I need to adjust any of the color, what I will do is come back and we will do some floating of color. We're not going to mess with the wet and the wet and the wet. So the next thing that I need to do is let this completely dry, and then when I come back we will go ahead and start on these leaves, and then I'll dry the leaves, and then we'll do the finishing touches of all the floating. And we have to still do our little pine needles off to the sides so we can make this look Christmassy. All right, I'll see you back in a few. Now for the holly leaves, I used a little bit of that wisteria. You can use that color, or you can use the light blue. I think this one was the light blue, yes, instead of the wisteria. So I used light blue on the heel, and I used a little bit of the classic green plus some of the what is it, happy green, or you could use citrus green. And to do these, all you need to do, now this is the back end of this sleeve, so I'm going to turn this around, and what I like to do is I'm going to start on this side right here, and we're going to come up, we're going to make little U's. So I start right here and I do a U, come up, do another U, come up. We're working towards this, a U, and there's the point. Okay, now I'm going to turn it around. Okay, I'm going to add a little float on my brush. Alright, now we're going to come around. This one's going to be on top of that, so I have a little V right here. And we're going to go a U, another little U, and another little U. Oops. And we're going to come off to the point right there. The rest of this, if you need to use the back end of the brush, you can mix those colors right like that. Now I would like to see this maybe with a little bit of white in it too. Let's go over this. So 1, 2, 3, and then you come off to your point. Okay, flip it around. Okay, we got a U here, so we do 1, 2, and 3 off to the point there. Blend that center part with the back part of your brush. Wipe your brush off, pick up a little bit of the deeper green. Load both sides. We're going to come over here, we're going to put the vein in. Right like that. 1, where each point is. I'm going to pull that right down. Like that. Need a little more paint. We have 1, 2, 3. And these angle brushes are wonderful for that. They have a nice sharp point. Now I will let this dry, and I will come back and I will float a little bit of darks behind here, here. And before I dry that, I want to add a vein to this one right here before I dry it. This one right down here. So touch, pull. Come all the way down. That one's going to come off that way. This one's going to come off this way. Okay, so you have little veins in it. And I will highlight, and then I will deepen some of these with a little bit of dark blue with the green so that it really sets them back. And then I will highlight these edges with a little bit of yellow and some of that happy green or citrus green. Make those really pop out there. And then we will come back and I will add little sprays of color, like little pine cones. Then we'll put some pink berries scattered throughout, and maybe a little bit of baby's breath or something in this so it looks sort of like Victorian. All right, go ahead and get this much done and we will come back. So let's do some pine needles next. I've already done one here for you right here. I'm still using the angle brush, and I picked up a little bit of the sap green, and I have a palette right here, and I mixed a little bit of the water in with my paint. And the first thing you do is you make a line like what I've done here, and then I like to start at the tip, brush straight up and down, and start pulling in to the center of that stem. Pull straight in. Okay, then you do the next side. I'm going to run this right off. Doing little lines, you're going to press and you're going to pull in. Some of them are fatter, some of them are smaller. Okay. Wipe your brush off on a paper towel, and you can pick up some of your happy green. Get a little dab of water. Now I'm going to come back over. I'm going to do the same stroke, touch and pull. This stroke is straight up and down on a chisel edge. Just enough pressure on this so that it will pull with you. Okay. There we go. So that we have two nice colors in there. Okay, there's a second one. Now I think I will do a little third one. Let's do a little third one like right here. Just a little short one. Wipe my brush off, go right back into the really dark sap green. I want it rather loose, so I have a cap full of water, and I just dip a little bit of water in. I'm going to go right here, and I want a little short one right here. So put in your stem, one, and then start working it back and forth. Let it go right over that. Okay, kind of tuck in right there. I can come back and touch that up. Wipe your brush off on a paper towel. Come back into the lime green, happy green, citrus green. Real light color, okay? Come right over the top of this at random while it's wet. Go right back over this leaf. I want it tucked in right under there. Okay, there. Right, here we go. So we have a triangle here. I may come back and redo this leaf right here. I also added some floating up under this top leaf here. I'm not real happy with that color, so I will come back and I think I will add another color to that. And when I come back, I'll let you know what it is. Now the next thing I want to do is go ahead and add some liner work and have a few pink berries. That's what I'd like to do next. So we will go ahead and get that done, and I'll show you how to use the dauber brush, and we'll make our little pink berries, and we'll almost be finished with this. All right, be right back. Let's do some berries. I have a little dauber here. This is really small, 1/4 inch. I have loaded it with some magenta and some bright pink. You can see, let's see, up here. And I have blotted it on my little paper palette right up here. And what I'm going to do is just touch straight down, and I'm going to give it a little twist. Okay, so touch, twist, touch, and twist. Those are big berries, huh? Okay, touch, twist. And I'm just twisting a little bit. I'm barely twisting at all. My little dauber is about wore out. It's almost in shambles here. But I didn't have another one, so I'm going to go ahead and use it. Touch, twist, touch, just give a little twist, touch, little twist, Okay, load it again. Let's go over here, touch, twist, touch, twist, touch, twist. Okay, let's do another one here. Alright. I'm going to put a little more dark on that. There we go. I think I want one up in here. There. And one up in here. Okay. Now we want one back here. And maybe another one right there. Okay, I think that's enough berries. Now once you have your berries on, let's take the end of my angle brush. Let's put a little highlight on it. I'm just dipping the tip in a little bit of white. And I'm just going to soften it right on my palette so there's not a lot of paint on it, okay? Now let's see if I can get a little highlight. There we go. On it. Pressed a little too hard on that one. It's okay. It's all right. It's all good. Just do the best you can do. Just a fun little painting here. Just need more white on here. Just a little highlight on there. Just a little C stroke. That's all that is. You can take also take a liner brush. Just a little highlight. Okay, on those. This one doesn't show up too much. Oops. Oh, I got a little too. I'll put a little more pink on that. Alright, there's your pink berries on there. I like the pink berries. I like pink anyway. And the only other thing that I would do to this is pick up a little bit of yellow. There's yellow. And I'm going to plot it on the paper palette here. Just so I don't have a glob of paint. And I'm going to add some little dots here. Or some pollen stamens. Right here. Right in the center there. Let's see. Now I could add a little green to that. Let's see if we had a little green on the bottom. Tie that in. Yeah, that looks okay doing that. That way you can see it a little bit more. Just little dots. Right there. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is I will go ahead and take a look at this. I think I will adjust this leaf here and check and see what else I like, what I might want to do. I think I might want to put a little bit more pink or blue in the background a little bit. I'm not quite for sure yet. I want to take some time to look at this because I'm not going to put it up on YouTube till tomorrow. So I'll take a look at it and I'll adjust anything I want to adjust. And the picture that you have on YouTube will be the finished painting that you will see. Okay, so go ahead and get this much done. And enjoy this little Christmas rose. I love those pink berries. Love the pink berries. And until next time, thank you for joining me. Please subscribe and like. It helps build my YouTube channel up so that I can continue offering you little paintings that you can paint. Also, I do classes. I do private one-on-one Zoom classes for any of you who want to learn different types of roses. I can teach you one stroke. I can teach you my style of painting, which is overstroking. I also do oils and acrylics. So anything that you might want to learn, just private message me and we can get a class going for you, and you can start your painting season for the new year. Okay, thank you so much. Take care. Bye for now.